Yes lads, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going through my Premier League predictions and also my FPL team. So first of all, we're going to get into the league table, starting off with 20th, going all the way up to 1st. So we're on the BBC website as you're able to do a little predictor here. We're going to start off at 20th. I'm going to go with a team that's just come up and is a little bit of a yo-yo team. We're going to go with Norwich. Always in that relegation battle. I just personally don't think they've got the strength and depth to play in the Premier League and do that well, to be honest. So I'm going to put them bottom, just like probably most people. Going into 19th in another relegation spot, I'm going to go for another newly promoted team. We're going to go with Watford. Again, a little bit of a poor side. Went down 2 years ago, came straight back up, to be fair to them, but I can just see them going back down. And again, the last relegation spot, I'm going to go with Brentford. I would love to see them do well in the Premier League. I want them to stay up and all that, but they haven't really made any marquee signings. I think they've only signed one centre-back. They haven't got too much strength. Obviously, they're not really a Premier League side, but you never know what might happen in the Premier League. They might actually stay up. They might do quite well. They might surprise us. I hope so. Now, in 17th, this team is a very secured team in the Premier League, but I'm going to go with Burnley. They always seem to stay up. They're sort of in and around that area, but they're never really in a proper relegation battle. But I'm going to stick them just above relegation, just because, again, they don't have the biggest budget in the world for the Premier League. Team's just quite average, so I'm going to stick them in 17th. In 16th place now, I'm going to go with Brighton. They haven't made too many signings. They never really do make any big name signings or anything like that. They need to sort out who they have up front, because they just need a goal scorer that's going to score them at least 10 to 15 goals in the league. In 15th now, I'm going to go with Southampton, just because they've lost Danny Ings. They're about to lose probably James Ward-Prowse. They brought in Adam Armstrong, he's not Premier League certified yet, so we'll see what happens with him. But Southampton, they don't have a strong squad. They did well at the start of the season last year, but then started to peel off at the end, so I can't really see them having a really good season again this year. I reckon they'll be quite average. In 14th now, I'm going to go with Newcastle, only because they're a solidified Premier League side, but I can't see them going anywhere. Just classic mid-table team, really. In 13th now, we're going to go with Crystal Palace. They've made some decent signings, to be fair. They've signed centre-backs, and obviously that young left-back from Reading as well. But I can't see them doing overly well. They seem to have kept Zaha, which is quite good. Obviously, their main player. They've lost quite a few players on the free transfers, though. So hopefully, with the new manager, Patrick Vieira, hopefully he can do all right for them, but I reckon mid-table is fair enough for them. In 12th place, this is where basically all the sort of big teams are coming into place now. I'm actually going to go with Wolves. Obviously, losing Nuno is quite a big loss for them. They've made some signings, but with other teams around them, I just can't see them really pushing into that top 10 again like they were a couple of years ago. Now, in 11th place, I'm actually going to go with Leeds. I think they are a really good side. I think Bielsa's doing a great job there. But the only problem is, I think there's just teams that are going to do better than them. They've shown last year that they were able to get some big results against some of the big teams, but also picking up some poor results against the smaller teams as well. So we'll see how they get on this year. Moving into the top 10 now, I'm going to go with West Ham. They've got Europa League football, which is good for them. They had a great season last season, but the fact that they haven't played Europe in quite a few years, and when they last did, they really didn't do too well. They've brought in some really good players as well. I really rate Areola as a goalkeeper, but I can't really see them doing particularly well, especially with the other teams above. As you'll see in 9th place, I'm going to go with Everton. They brought in Rafa Benitez, which is, I think, a really good replacement for Ancelotti. But we'll see what Everton bring this year. I can't really see them pushing on into that top 7, top 6. But I can't see them going any lower. I can see them doing all right. They don't have Europa League football to focus on, so I think they'll do decently. In 8th place now, I think this is going to be one of the dark horses this year in the Premier League, but I'm going to go with Aston Villa. Losing Jack Grealish, but then replacing him with the likes of Leon Bailey, Buendia and Danny Ings, I think are really, really good signings. Hopefully that will push them on to push for higher spots like this, and I think they'll have a really good season, to be honest. Now, moving into the top 7, this is where all the big clubs are starting to come in now, but I'm going to go with Leicester. Now, I don't know if this is quite a bold statement. I mean, they've got Europa League football again. They've won the Community Shield, to be fair. But I can just see the big 6 just actually having good seasons. And I'll explain my reason is why. But yeah, Leicester, they've brought in a couple of players like Daka. another striker option. But with having 2 good seasons last year and the year before, slipping up and missing out on top 4 both of those times, again, I just can't really see them doing too well, to be honest. In 6th place, I'm going to go with Arsenal. I don't know if this is biased or not, to be honest, but I think they're going to push back into that top 6. Obviously, they finished 8th now 2 years in a row. They signed Ben White, which I personally think, as a Spurs fan, it's actually quite a good signing, even at 50 million. Young English defender. He can play well out the back. But I can't see Arsenal pushing into the top 4. I can't see them finishing below the likes of Leicester, Aston Villa or Everton. Again, really. But top 6, they don't have Europa League football or Europa Conference League football to focus on. They've literally just got a straight run in now. Just got to focus on maybe cup competition, that's about it. But yeah, I think they'll actually finish in a European spot this year. In 5th place now, I'm going to go with my team, Tottenham. Again, I don't really know if that's biased. I don't personally think it is. With the we've made a couple of good signings. We've offloaded a few players like the Mella and Alderweireld. Bringing in Nuno, I think he's a class coach. Obviously, he wasn't our main priority, but I can see him doing well. And obviously, we've got Europa Conference League football, but to be honest, I don't think that's going to be as competitive as the Europa League. So playing Thursday and Sunday, I don't think that's going to be a problem for us. Now, moving into the top 4, I think this is probably what most people are going to predict the top 4 to be. But in 4th, I'm going to go with Liverpool. Obviously, Van Dijk is now back. They brought in Kneath. They have got a solid back 4, but Robertson picking up an injury early doors for the start of this season, it's not really going to help them. But I think they'll have a good season. I think they'll do well in cup competitions and also the Champions League. But I can't see them finishing above these top 3 that I'm going to go for. So in 3rd place, I'm going to go for Manchester United. They've made some decent signings. Jadon Sancho and Rafael Varane. They are class signings. But I just don't really feel like Ole is the type of manager to be able to compete with the likes of Tuchel and Pep to finish in that top position. Now, in 2nd place, I'm going to go with Chelsea. They've signed Romelu Lukaku, which is a brilliant signing at about 98 million. That will really help them to score a lot more goals this season. Tuchel obviously came in last year, completely changed their season around, won them the Champions League, just won them the Super Cup. I can see them doing well this year, but obviously now they've got extra games to play with the Club World Cup. And with how the Premier League goes, it's really hard to predict, isn't it? So I'm going to stick them in 2nd, and obviously 1st place, I'm going to go with Man City. I just think they're literally dominating the English league at the moment. They signed Jack Grealish for 100 million. They might even steal Harry Kane off us. So I think Pep will just do well. I know they're going to focus probably on the Champions League again, but I think they've got the depth in their squad to be able to push on and win the league again. So that concludes the Premier League prediction. So we're going to quickly recap. In the bottom 3, we're going to go with Brentford, Watford and Norwich. And then in the bottom half, we're going to go Burnley at 17th, Brighton at 16th, Southampton 15th, Newcastle 14th, Crystal Palace 13th, Wolves 12th, Leeds 11th and West Ham in 10th, Everton in 9th, Aston Villa in 8th, Leicester in 7th, Arsenal in 6th, Tottenham in 5th, top 4 with Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea and Man City winning the league. So yeah, let's move on to my Fantasy Premier League. So let's have a look at my Fantasy Premier League. I did quite well last year. I was actually focusing on it throughout the whole year. That was probably the first time I've done a whole season doing a Fantasy Premier League. But yeah, let's have a look at my team. We're going with a little 4-3-3. I think everybody has gone with similar players this year, and I've changed it around quite a lot. But in goal, we're going to go Roberto Sanchez at 4.5 million. I think he's an absolute steal. Brighton had one of the best defensive stats last year in the league. He came in, replaced Matty Ryan and done really well. He was even at the Euros in the summer. So with the start that Brighton have got as well, they could keep some clean sheets somewhere, and obviously he can do quite well. Moving on to the back 4, I've gone for 3 fullbacks, which is probably the smarter option, obviously, in fantasy football, and a centre-back as well. We've obviously gone with Trent. Liverpool have got a class start to the season, and they're going to pick up clean sheets. Trent, we know what he's capable of. He can get assists. At 7.5 million, it's a little bit expensive, but with the start they've got, you can get some early points in there. I'm also going to go with Soufal from West Ham. Last year he got 9 assists, so he done class. West Ham got a little easy running at the start of the season. Obviously they've got Europa League football as well to focus on, but defensively I think West Ham will do quite well this year, and Soufal at fullback, I think he'll pick up some more assists this year. Similarly with Luke Shaw, Man United have got class back 4 now. I think they'll do really well defensively. I reckon they'll probably be the best defence. And Luke Shaw obviously had a class Euros with England. The only thing about it is I don't know if they'll probably rest him because he's come back a bit late from the Euros and stuff, but if they play him, I reckon they'll keep good clean sheets and he'll get assists as well. And then my other defensive option, I've gone with Ben White because he's a cheap option at 4.5 million. I think a lot of people have gone with him. Arsenal, I think we'll do well defensively, to be honest. It could be a bit of a risk, but he's only a centre-back, and I sadly hope that Arsenal keeps some clean sheets. Going into the midfield now, I've gone with Heung-min Son. At 10 million, I think it's actually a decent little player to put in. They've got Tottenham, obviously, we've got a little bit of a hard start, starting with City, and then the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal early doors as well. But Son, double figures in the goals and assists in the couple of seasons. As you can see here, 17 goals, 11 assists, 11 goals, 13 assists in the last 2 seasons. He'll pick up some good points, I think. I've also gone with Bruno Fernandes. He'll easily get points. He got 244 points last year, 18 goals, 14 assists. He takes penalties for Man United. He's such a creative player and he can score tons of goals. And my next midfield option, I've gone with Jared Bowen at 6.5 million. He actually picked up some decent points. He actually did get 141. He's quite a cheap option, and I think West Ham will do quite well. Now, as my striker options, obviously, I had to go with Harry Kane. I want to know his situation, though. I don't know if he's going to play this Sunday, but he obviously picks up tons of goals. 23 goals, 14 assists last year. That's actually crazy. With 242 points, I've captained him, but if there's any news over the weekend, then I'm going to change it to Bruno Fernandes, obviously. My other striker options, I've gone with newly promoted Ivan Toney. Obviously, absolute goal scorer in the Championship last year. He's quite a cheap option at 6.5 million. They've got Arsenal first game of the season, so they're at home. You never know what could happen, and I reckon he'll score quite a few goals this year, as he'll be their main goal for it. And the last option, I think most people have gone with him, but Danny Ings, obviously he was class at Southampton. He's moved over to Aston Villa. With the greater players around him, he's going to score bags of goals, and obviously they start off with Watford at only 8 million, so I think he'll get quite a few goals this season. On the bench then, I've obviously gone for I don't really know what to think of the bench. Obviously, I could change it around and stuff, but I've gone for Ben Foster. Everyone's gone for Ben Foster, as he's only 4 million, and he'll actually probably play for Watford this year. As a defensive option, I've changed it around quite a bit, but I've gone for Chimikas with the fact that Robertson's obviously been injured. Liverpool got an easy run at the start of the season. Obviously, he's a fullback. He'll probably start, keep clean sheets, maybe get assists, but I don't really rate Chimikas as a player, but we'll see how he starts in the Premier League. The next midfield option, I've actually gone with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. It's just another Tottenham option. He was quite cheap. I don't really think he'll get too many points. I just didn't really know who to go for. But the fact that he got quite a lot of assists in the Euros, I had him in my Euros fantasy team and he got me tons of points. So if he could pick up assists this year, that will be helpful in this fantasy team. And the last option, I've gone for Yves Bissouma. Obviously, Brighton's probably most important midfielder. He's a cheap option. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. But yeah, this is my starting team to go with for the Fantasy Premier League. So we'll see how I get on this year. So yeah, guys, that does conclude my Premier League predictions as well as my Fantasy Premier League. If you guys did enjoy or did not agree with any of my predictions, give me a little comment down below. But if you did enjoy, please like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.